all his words as it is. So from 1970s to 80s, buffalo meat emerges as India's primary export meat due to cultural acceptance and large buffalo population. Initial exports mainly to Middle East, mostly frozen carcasses. Then in 90s, liberalization and export policy reforms, introduction of modern abattoirs and processing plants, shift to deboned, deglanded frozen meat of today. That means the 100% export oriented units were initiated as a liberalized policy at that time, and in that meat also was included. And in 2000s, India becomes world's largest buffalo meat exporter. Diversification into Africa, Southeast Asia, and certification to OE standards. We have fairly improved in our meat sector activities. Then in 2010, that is, I think it is 2014, the peak growth export volumes at around 14 lakh tons. This is 1.4 million tons per year. And strong demand from Vietnam, Malaysia, Egypt, Jordan, and Gulf countries. So nobody has expected India will reach the top, but it happened. And 2020 to 2022, COVID disruption, port delays, freight spikes, no freight was available, market closures, and but India has very quickly recovered and started exporting. Then 23-25, focus on value added products, sustainable practices, how to sustain the things, and then traceability, which is very frequently used word. Then the drivers of growth have been large buffalo population, steady raw material supply. So far, it has been doing. Then cost competitiveness versus global exporters. Our costs have been very competitive so far. Strong export processing infrastructure. We have now 75 integrated meat export plants. That is, no other sector has in such short time got into this modern infrastructure. Then trade diplomacy opening and retaining the markets. So the governmental bilateral relations and the trade discussions and the commercial attaches in the embassies and all. So they are facilitating the markets. So this is the one when we reach the peak nearly after this. So Brazil, Australia, US, India, these are the four countries changing their positions. And at least one time we got a chance to become the top. But in 2012, we are all very close. And I think 2013-14, around that time, we have exceeded, reached the top. So the resilience factors, market diversification reduces dependency because we are able to export to 75 countries. So one time this country restricts, another time another country permits and things. And then flexible production, chilled and frozen, but mostly we are frozen products only we do. And then regulatory compliance with SPS norms, greatly improved with FMD control and other disease monitoring infrastructure improvements and animal husbandry department. First, it became a separate department in the agriculture ministry, then it became a separate ministry. So these are not small things. Then continuous private sector investment, yes. And that is the reason that we have now so many plants. In the beginning, we were doing only in the cold stores and in some places where the ice is being made, the ice factories. And I was fortunately associated from 92 onwards with this in an active manner. Then the developing the regulations for meat export and all. So in the meat plant inspection committee, in the beginning we used to go and see the ice factories and cold stores where the meat is being processed. But we encouraged them and we try to improve them, and slowly things have improved. Now, the current challenges: rising feed and transport costs, and then competition from Brazil, Australia, and local suppliers, because each country has the buffaloes or the beef, and they also try to increase their productions. Then increasing sustainability and carbon footprint demands. Of course, we are in a favorable position on this point. Then policy unpredictability in importing countries. Suddenly they can decide to stop or to decrease the quota or anything. Then emerging markets beyond current strongholds. We need to develop new markets. There are many markets which we have not entered for various reasons. So we have all of them as a challenge to go. And then traceability aspects. Then managing margin pressures from raw material and freight costs. Yes, the profits to manage is a very tough thing because of the raw material cost as well as the freight cost. The last 3 points are added by me. Up to now, they were all Irfan Alana's points. Then the last three is how to achieve further growth in exports. Because I presume it is we have reached the peak. Now how to further? Then need for amending existing regulations. We have some regulations which are not in conducive. Then defending meat exports from non-stakeholders, a very, very important thing. As you see, there will come some of the slides. So even the stakeholders sometimes, because all the research people, all the vets, they are all supposed to be stakeholders, but sometimes they take a different view on this. And as an example, I can tell you, one of the DDG Animal Science in a conference um, at NAS, it was done, and he said from the stage, "My government is not for promoting meat exports." I don't know what is his government and where from he got that idea that the government is not promoting meat exports, because DGFT policy is there. Every 5 years, the government makes that policy and everyone is bound by that policy. So I was to tell Dr. Ranjan, please educate him that he should not speak like that. So sometimes I need to tell like that. So, why to promote meat exports? Then, meat exports essentially contribute in fulfilling the purposes and functions of livestock keeping. So, there are an n number of functions and purposes for the different countries, different people, and different levels. Even it may be just for fun, you will keep the animal. Okay. So, there are so many purposes and they have the functions. And in order to see that these purposes and functions are fulfilled, you need to have meat exports also if it is a suitable animal. Then sustained meat production is possible with sustained utility of the species. That is, as demand-driven utility fetches reasonable returns to the livestock producer. If there is no demand, there is no utility. And when there is no utility, there is no production. It's as simple as that. And there are many examples to that. Economic interest plays an important role in sustaining farmers' interest in livestock production. These days, with a lot of stress of so many constraints, naturally his interest must be protected if he has to continue in that. Then meat exports are value addition approach to farmers' resources such as crop residues, spare labor available, utility of excess and culled animals. So this is simply a value addition to agriculture or the farmers' other activities. In the absence of meat exports, some of the enterprises may not be sustainable, such as milk production and leather exports, because these contribute partially to their cost maintenance. To facilitate balance of payments for essential imports, this is very important. Just today I heard that combined with China and Russia, we are $150 billion trade imbalance. So most of the things we have to take essential things from Russia like oil, fertilizers, and whatnot. So we should have some product at least to export and see that these balance of payment, they are very important. Otherwise, our critical imports may not be maintained to contribute for employment, livelihood, and food security because the very livestock does these things. So anything associated with that will facilitate these things. To maintain bilateral trade obligations because someone is in need of meat. So we have the bilateral relations. We have to spare that for their need. Now, how the growth has happened. So the developmental things what Alana has given, you have seen. Now, in terms of objective terms, by the quantity and the returns involved and the rate of returns per unit weight and all, this slide gives you a very impressive kind of growth that happened so far. Landmark developments in Indian buffalo meat exports 2001 to 19 I have given because up to that not so much is there. So Indian meat exports started with as small a quantity as 2000 tons and 2 crore rupees in the year 73-74 and increased to about 60,000 metric tons by 87-88 valued at 88 crores. That is the initial period which doesn't have a very clear statistics also. Then by 1994 we have reached 1 lakh tons. That is the mark here, 1994. Then you can see in terms of value 100 crores in 91, 200 crores in 93, 500 crores in 96, 1000 crores in 2001. Since we reached 1000 crores in 2001, that is a stage to be seen. And by then we have reached 2 lakh tons. That is doubling of meat exports in 6 years from 1 lakh ton to 2 lakh tons. Then 3 lakh tons in 2004, 4 lakh tons in 6, 5 lakh tons in 11, and 10 lakh tons before 2013. So, and similarly here also 2000 crores, 3000 crores in 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, like that it has happened because it goes by the rate and the quantity and then the dollar value together. So 1475 lakh metric tons in 2000 14-15. So they taken as 15 and fetching 29,283 crores is the peak value we have reached. And then from then onwards, 12 lakh tons, 11 lakh tons, that is the COVID period. And then once again in 2024, 13 lakh tons. And the value is the maximum, 31,000. So if you look at the unit value in terms of rupees, it is 50 rupees per kilo in 2005, 100 rupees in 9, and 200 in 15, and 197 in 2020, and 245 in 2024. And same thing in the dollar terms also, $1 in 2001, then later 2009, $2, 14, $3. Now around $3 and $4 we are. Now, right now we are, I think it is $4 it has come. So the rate to reach $5, which is reasonably expected for India, when India establishes FMD disease-free zones, covering 10 buffalo populous states with significant meat production from male buffalo cows. And at that time, we will be able to reach $5 per kilo. Then how to export beyond 12 to 15 lakh metric tons? Let us see. That is the peak value or whatever is possible. From the existing population, the culling rate and the farmers' ability to maintain the population, it is only 12 to 15 lakh tons. You cannot go for 16 or 17 or 18. It is not possible unless you substitute through male buffalo calf rearing. That is the truth. So, if you look at the history of buffaloes, about 100 years back, buffaloes were not slaughtered for meat and only hides were collected from dead buffaloes. This is published in a journal in 1914. The journal name is The Tanning Industry. At that time, the tanning was there, but not the meat. So, its development in India. Indian Industries and Power is the journal name. So that is the one in the March issue of 2014. Over past 100 years, buffaloes have emerged from not so important species to most important livestock species of today with the quadruple functions of milk, meat, leather, and draught. There is nothing to beat the success the species it has made in the last 100 years. Then buffaloes are the only livestock species without any decline in population since 1951, from 14.82 millions to today's 110 million. Not today's 2019. We have had to get the census of the last, maybe that is coming soon. Cattle prospects diminished due to decreased utility of meat and draught functions. So from 53.04 in 1951 to 192.48 million with the 263% increase in 2019, whereas the buffaloes by threefold increase, that is 641% increase during the same period. So in 1976, the National Commission on Agriculture, which is a very standard book, every veterinarian must read to know what was before and what they have projected for 2000 AD. And that will be a great clue for anyone to further plan anything. Because we must know from where we came and where we stand and where to go. So, buffalo should be developed not only for milk but also for meat. Fattening of unwanted buffalo cows should be undertaken. A deliberate and energetic drive should be made to develop export trade in buffalo meat. Development of meat animal marketing services for fair returns to farmers. See, they have not ignored farmers, and that has to be the first one because then only all other stories will happen. Efforts should be made to decrease livestock numbers by using available stock more efficiently because the excess population or stray population was all felt even at that time. So they limited cattle population to 167, but it has grown to 192. And buffaloes they limited to 57 by 2000 AD, but it has gone to 110. And sheep 60 million, and it has gone to 74. And surprisingly, for goat they limited because they thought that the goat is destroyer of forests and negative animal. So they limited it to 40 million, but it has gone to 148, 149 million. So buffaloes have a number of specialties as a species, and that may be the reason that it has sustained the 100 years of its excellent growth. Just have a look at them. Efficient converters of coarse feeds, straws, crop residues to milk and meat. Higher energy economizing capacity. They don't waste much of the energy. More adaptable and easy to maintain, possess better resistance to parasites and diseases. This you can see in the lumpy skin disease. While the whole cattle were affected and buffaloes were only very few, means you have to set for a photo of buffalo with LSD. But we can't say that it has not affected, but very little. Increased demand for the products milk, meat, and leather. Buffalo meat, due to its merits, has been patronized in importing countries. We will see a couple of slides on that. Why the importing countries have patronized. Buffalo milk is superior to cow milk due to higher fat and total solids, excellent for product making. Easy to market the products. Buffalo leather has a number of merits. Yes, the CLRI has communicated to me about 16 merits of buffalo leather over the cow, you can say. Buffalo meat has a number of superior characteristics that also we will see. Favorable slaughter utility regulations of unproductive buffaloes means they are favorable, not totally banning or highly restricting. So that's why we are able to make the show so far. Superior infrastructure for value addition and compete in international trade. One thing you must know that all our plants are of latest, whereas in the developed countries, most of the plants are very old. So one good thing is our plants are excellent plants with excellent design and well maintained in a very efficient manner. The infrastructure has been developed. So, merits of buffalo meat, compositional, nutritional, and health benefits, innumerable number are there. Buffalo meat is lean, possesses higher protein, essential amino acids content, higher chemical lean and versatile for the products, lower cholesterol content, lower energy per unit weight due to lower fat content, vitamin B6 and B12 higher, relatively more tender due to lower hydroxyproline content, means the connective tissue content being lower. Fat is firm and of white in color, good for cardiac health, free of hormone and chemical residues due to natural feeding practices, free of contaminants due to clean animals in small holding system. You have to see that our buffaloes in the slaughter plant, they are all very clean because their skin won't attach any of the things. Probably their whole hair coat is little and the farmers take care of washing them and all. But that is not case with the beef animals in the abroad countries. They are very, very dirty many times. Better quality assurance due to modern export plants and practices followed, and because yes, fairly they are all excellent practices, otherwise we will not stand so much growth over 50 years in the importing countries, because there are regulations in the importing countries. If the quality aspects are poor, certainly we cannot maintain. Relatively of lower cost due to mixed farming operations. Buffalo meat could provide a safer and healthier alternative to cow meat. We have one slide on that. So the buffalo meat export prospects, what they depend on. International meat consumption and demand. Certainly the consumption and demand must be there, but as per the projections, that is sufficiently there. Cost and quality and diplomatic negotiations. See, for 20 years we have been making efforts with Russia for promoting our meat, but it did not happen. But when the EU and all have banned the trade, banned the trade and all, then only we are able to export. That started. So I will tell you one small event. When I was joint commissioner, from the raw research analysis wing, some people entered my room and started asking, one person is coming to you, why he is coming to you. See, they have seen the visitors register of Russian embassy and the visitors register of Krishi Bhavan, and one Sunil Sood was there. He is trying his best efforts to export meat to Russia. And he has been coming quite often whenever they say this is the requirement. How can we meet that requirement here? So I told them it is all for promoting meat export to Russia. That's why his name is there and here. So then they have gone. So I remember 20 years it took before we are able to do the consignment export to Russia. Animal diseases and trade implications. So they play very important role. Then establishment of FMD-free zones, we need to do it if we have to sustain further growth. Sustained meat production for domestic demand and export surplus. This has to happen. Reasonable returns to farmers, realizing production potential. We have the potential, but we have to realize it. value addition approach for better economics, pragmatic policy and regulatory support, and positive public image. Still, we have a lot of controversies. We will see some of those controversies affect against the meat exports. So the important aspects for international trade are high quality standards, safety protocols, and well-designed infrastructure. All these three things are very important if we have to have better prospects for export. So global trade barriers to meat exports, diseases and their control, high tariffs, restrictive quotas, and beta agonists and hormone residue bans, age restrictions, because some of the countries, because of BSE, they say that we will only take meat from animals of less than 30 months old, because by then they are not prone for BSE. So that is the requirement. And strict beef cut procedures, traceability requirements, infrastructure facilities, meat inspection and quality assurance, regulatory provisions. They will ask what are the regulations in our country for control on the swill feeding of the um, kitchen waste and all to pigs and other animals. What is the treatment procedure to that extent? So whatever is the regulation or whatever is their fear, they will ask what is the regulation you have. We have to have a black and white regulation first to tell them that this is what we are doing. Then certification including for halal, non-tariff barriers. So just like that, they can stop import for 6 months period using the precautionary principle of WTO. If they have any fear of anything before it is confirmed, assessed, or probably studied for its implications, they can stop. That is the WTO provision. We need not ask them why did you stop. So it is only after 6 months. So they use as a non-tariff barrier these things. Cost competition certainly, and then animal welfare measures. Some countries very strictly ask what are the regulations and how do you practice animal welfare and all. So if we have free trade agreements, then we have more opportunities for export. Then the trade agreements reduce and eliminate tariffs and quotas, but also address the barriers that obstruct the flows of goods and services. Recently, India has such a free trade agreement with UK. So we have with some countries some kind of limited product kelly, but it is better that for between the bilateral relations when we do, we should have such a trade agreement. A tariff is a tax levied on goods transported from one custom area to another, while tariff rate quota is a quantity limit on imports. For example, Indonesia, they give only certain quantity for us to export, not that whatever quantity we can export. So just briefly, importing countries have experienced the risk-free status of Indian buffalo meat and patronized for about 5 decades due to buffalo meat is hormone-free meat, as hormones used for growth or milk production is never done. Misuse of hormone growth promoters, if they are available in the country, their misuse will happen. Does not arise as promoters are neither available nor ever a practice permitted. Free of animal protein feeding, we don't feed meat and blood milk to the ruminants. And then buffalo meat is free of antibiotic residues. Antibiotic feeding for growth never resorted, and use of antibiotics for therapeutic use is minimal due to traditional system of rearing and maybe the economic status of the people to liberally use is not there. Buffalo meat is free of pesticide residue risks as the per capita use of pesticide is minimal and much less than many other countries. Buffalo meat is free of chemical residues due to personalized care in rearing of animals, and accidental contamination are not possible because in a say, large-scale production systems, these accidental contaminations are there, and they result these things more. So now, past and projected trends in consumption of meat and milk in developing and developed countries. That is, what is the demand situation projected? Meat demand is growing. Over the past 50 years, meat production has more than tripled. The production now, the world now produces more than 350 million tons each year, and the projected total consumption is by 2030 373 million tons, and by 2050 452 million tons. So this is there both in the developing and developed countries, but it is increasing more in the developing countries than the developed countries, which are already at a high per capita consumption. So world beef and veal exports, the top 15 beef exporting countries. So the Brazil, Australia, United States, we are at the fourth with 3.2 billion. In terms of quantity, we are in a fair position, but in terms of the value, we are far lower, and of course in the fourth position. So then, so many countries, most of them are New Zealand, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Ireland, Poland, Canada, Netherlands, Nicaragua, Germany, Spain. So, and the value and the percentages. Globally exported beef were worth $70 billion in 2024. So, in this 70, we are cornering about 4 billion only. But in all probability, 10% of the global trade we should be able to corner. That is at least 7 billion we should. That means nearly we should double our exports. And that is certainly possible because we have the potential and we have the meritorious product, as you can see in the coming slides. Worldwide purchases of imported beef is same like 70 billion. What is exported is imported. Then top importing countries include China as the number one, 19.6% of total beef imports. United States 15.4%, South Korea 5.3, Japan 4.5, Germany 3.6, France 2.9%, Mexico 2.1%, and United Arab Emirates 1.37 billion, that is 2%. India is able to export to only this one country. All other countries, we are not able to export the meat, the fresh meat, we call it as fresh or frozen meat. And China takes it via Vietnam, that is another story. But otherwise, we have a large number of countries yet to establish the market and some reasonable levels to push through. So, top five buffalo meat exporting companies from India. You can see the Alana Sons with 48%, Fair Exports with 26%, All Hamd Agro Food Products with 12.7, and Mirha Exports 7.2, and All Amar Frozen Foods 5.3%. So we are exporting to these countries: Vietnam 18%, Egypt 16%, Malaysia 15, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Indonesia, Philippines, Uzbekistan, Jordan. So these are the top exporting countries for us, or rather importing countries of Indian buffalo meat. So we have huge number of countries yet to having the importing things. So in 2024-25 March, we have the buffalo meat at 12.54 lakh tons and 34,000 crores, and about 80% of the total animal products category is the buffalo meat. And dairy products at about 14%, poultry products at 3%, sheep goat meat at 1.67%. We are unable to cross 1,000 crores in case of sheep goat meat. It is all the time 800 crores, 700 crores, but not 1,000 crores anytime. Animal casings, 1.17% of the total value. and processed meat, some negligible, and other meats, something is there. So our India export of animal products, Vietnam, Egypt, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. Now coming to how to sustain that further growth from the peak, or we are now in a plateau position. We have reached the plateau position in respect of extraction of buffaloes, or the practice of slaughter rate from the population, something like 15-16%. Maximum it may be 20 also in actual terms. But if we have to export further, what we have to do it? It is the only male buffalo cows. And from male buffalo calves alone, we have 82,000 crore worth, or rather 11.7 million, no, 11,761, and 1.17 billion it will come. So, no, I think, yes, it is 82,000 crores definite. And then, and female buffalo cows also. See, not necessary that all females are taken into the system. There are very many reasons why the farmer don't want to keep it, because it is not fit for retaining for the breeding purpose or milk, because some anatomical defects or some other reasons and all. So that is also there. And then adult males, and then adult females, which we are doing now, right now, that is the 34,000 crores. So total it is coming 1,35,000 crores, 835 crores. So 1,35,000 crores or 36,000 crores is the potential available, and this value is taken at 75 rupees per dollar. But right now it is 85 rupees per dollar, and it may be anyhow above 80 only, it may not come down below or below 75. So a 1 lakh crore export, that is from our 30,000 by 3 times multiplication, is possible, and we have the potential available from the same 110 million buffaloes which we have. We need not increase the buffalo population, because that may not happen. So each 10 lakh male buffalo cows, when reared, one third number each to 250 kilo, 300 kilo, and 350 kilo live weight, one third of them to this weight, one third to this weight, then the boneless meat yield of 82 kilos, 100 kilos, and 116 kilos respectively would produce about 1 lakh metric tons of boneless meat. 1 lakh metric tons of boneless meat. And this, as many 10 lakhs, because we say that the estimated male buffalo calves available for meat, anywhere 18 to 23 is possible. So take it as 20 million. And if each 10 lakh can produce 1 lakh tons, so certainly the potential is very huge. And this is the kind of thing we should attempt, and see that major effort has to be put in by the government and by everyone. So now you can see that the buffalo meat production and productivity in the top 10 countries. See, there is no literature word to measure what is meat productivity. So, and compare among the countries having different populations, different practices, and all. So I just developed this parameter, that meat productivity is meat production in tons divided by population multiplied by 100. You will get a comparable figure which will give you an understanding of how it in relation to the other countries. For example, Egypt has the river buffaloes. They have the same buffaloes like our buffaloes, and they rank at one, because they practice excellent practices, and their slaughter rate is anywhere 30 to 40% over the years. That means buffaloes also can sustain, like the developed country's cow population, a 40% slaughter rate it can maintain. So that is 5.38. And India is at 1.52 and at 8th rank. Now, India meat productivity would substantially increase, and the available potential is 350% increase to reach up to Egypt level, which has riverine buffaloes as of India. So that is the potential. We can reach up to their level. So if not 350%, let us say half of it, 175% increase, and it will certainly fulfill our goal of doubling the exports or tripling the exports. So the potential, you understand, is there, and it is an opportunity, successful opportunity, and a prospective opportunity if we invest in these things. Now, just look at these buffalo cows under 1 year age. Up to 2012, they were recording male buffaloes and female buffalo cows under 1 year category. But after 12 in the 19th census, they recorded female buffalo cows under 1 year and 1 to 2 years. But as far as the males is concerned, I don't know for what reason, they have considered straight male buffalo cows under 2 years. So that means that is not a clear figure because many would have died or slaughtered or whatever it is. Anyhow, just look at it. Up to 1982, the difference between male and female cows is narrow. Probably people were giving some milk to them to drink and sustain. They were not dying, or the milk collection has not gone up to the village level. So in the village, when they have the milk, they drink and then they take out the ghee and other things, and still they may leave some amount of milk to the male calf also, little liberally. That may be the reason that for this narrowness. From then onwards, so probably people are not giving milk to the male calf, and it is the neglect and it is the early age death, and so they have become much wide. Very recently in June, one entrepreneur, he is an engineering graduate, he has 50 buffaloes, modern buffalo farm. I asked him how many males you are getting, what is the status of the male survival and retaining. He simply told, "Sir, I have the people employed from the Bihar, and they don't leave any milk despite my repeated telling to them. So they die out. We don't have, maybe one or two will be there, otherwise not." So that is the position. We need to stop it by very correct, profitable, and economic interventions. This is where the research and the practice of field testing, they are all very much required. Now you can see that these buffalo cows were waiting for slaughter outside Delhi slaughterhouse when Dr. Lakshmanan was doing the prospects of a male buffalo cow rearing for meat for his PhD thesis. So, and the below one, this is the male buffalo cows waiting for slaughter at Hind Industries in Aligarh. And the below one is currently the male buffalo cows in the market area for. So, uh, right now, if they are surviving, they are being reared to some extent, or they themselves graze and becoming so much weight. But at one time, the cows were so bad and they are being slaughtered, and nothing you will get. And it is IVRI experimentation, and they grow very well, and they are excellent meat animals. And this is NDRI experiment, so wonderful meat deposition, and similarly the male cows being reared. So some interest is seen in some areas to grow MBCs to 150 to 200 kg. And roughly we estimate of the 20 million, maybe 5 million are getting to some extent not fully utilized, underutilized still, but coming into the system of meat production. So, salvaging and growing buffalo cows to larger weights for quality meat and hide production and better efficiency of buffalo production. These are things to be attempted. Now we have the green fodders, we have the crop residues, and we have the agro products, and we can produce excellent wheal calf. And our practices are so natural, and we need not think of what is that organic and all that kind of things, because certainly our meats are definitely doubtlessly organic. We can take it, they may come within the definition or not, but for a practical situation they are organic, and they do not do any harm of anything. Same thing, male buffalo calves, IVRI experiments. But all these experiments, what they have done mostly, I have read all the theses of at IBRI, the animal nutrition and all, and to my sad feeling, that none of them are helping towards a current real situation as an intervention to take some of those findings. See, if you are doing NRC, US standards, or ARC, UK standards, 10% lower or 10% higher of that, and all that kind of thing, that's not what it is. We have not gone into the still the stall fed system. We are still in the semi-intensive, yet to go into the semi-intensive. So what interventions required towards the current system of grazing come semi-intensive system? That is what so much of thesis work did not give any interventions to be taken and carried further. So these are the male buffalo calves waiting in the live age, and they are the adult buffaloes. So this is one classical experiment done at IBRI, and luckily sponsored by the Al Kabirs. And this study, of course, has done a kind of damage that the conclusion came that rearing male buffalo cows for meat is not economical. And that has been carried decade after decade, though a lot of things have changed. See, now you can just look at it. In 1995, the study was done. Then cost of production, feed cost alone, 16 to 17 per kg live weight gain. And the market price at that time was 8 to 10 per kg. And US dollar value was only 31 rupees. In 2024, the present feed cost, they come to 90 to 100 rupees per kilo live weight gain, taking total what is that mixed ration at rupees 15 per kg. And today market price is anywhere 115 to 125 per kg live weight, taking 4 to 5 US dollars per kg boneless meat, and the dollar is at 85. Now, why I am telling is, because of the FMD control program, and we have planned to eradicate it by 2025 control, and 2030 totally eradication, and all those things. At that time, we can sell our meat of our buffalo wheel at anywhere $7 to $8. Maybe it will increase by then. In the current situation, we can do that kind of thing. So the investments are worthwhile in this. So subsidy is essential in order to cover all costs and encourage farmers till achieving greater efficiency. Now this is simply they are roaming around, and then they are being harvested, but do no attention of rearing them properly. Then this has been possible with most modern integrated meat export plants in terms of unit value in US dollars. You have already seen it. $1 in 2001, $2 in 2009. Simultaneously, the dollar value also has increased, $3 in 14 and $4 in 24, with continuous increase in dollar value also. So this situation has changed. Now, if someone says rearing male buffalo cows for meat is uneconomical, is not proper. You have to attempt a right thing. Now, I congratulate this Combos et al. Of the CIRB NABA campus. They have done one study in 2007, economics of rearing Nili Ravi male buffalo cows under 4 feeding regimes for meat production. They have done stall feeding. They have also done stall feeding with costly concentrate, stall feeding with less costly one, and then 6 hours grazing in the fields, plus a low cost concentration, some barley and um, some sunflower cake they have given at 1% weight. And then they have achieved cost per kg live weight at wheel stage. Wheel stage means 200 kilos they have taken live weight, 37 in the intensive system and 25.9 in the second category, 27.7 in the T3 category, and 22.6 in the grazing plus little supplementation. And cost per kg live weight at beef stage, it has come down still. That means they were still growing, and the more efficiency was there at the beef stage. So the sale price they have considered at that time was decimally low, that is rupees 20 per kg live weight in 2005, and rupees 44 per US dollars at that time. So now this price has increased to nearly 90 to 100. The exporters will buy that, and then the dollar value has facilitated with 85. So taking this kind of thing in clue, so people should develop more and more interventions and see that they are practical. This is a Pakistan study wherein they compared grazing with the stall feeding, but in the stall feeding they have not given any concentrate, they have only given oat fodder followed by maize fodder as per the season availability, and open grazing 6 to 8 hours, and there is no difference. That means if your grazing system is fairly good with fallow lands with something to eat there, so they grow fairly good, but little supplementation of concentrate may be good. Otherwise, you have the cereal fodder plus 30% of legume fodder. Then it will take care of the protein requirement and no need for concentrate at all. So now I come to the one very important thing. For best reasons known to the Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of India, despite having such huge potential and with great efforts, they have formulated one scheme under NLM for male buffalo calf scheme with wonderful objectives and all, but they did not monitor at all that project. With the result, the banks did not give the loan. And people say, you did not give the loan, but you just send my application to the. No, no, when there is no loan, we have no connection with the farmers. In fact, at NRC meet, we have invited some of those ram lamb rearing people and all, and they told, see, the NABARD is the implementing agency, and never NABARD has monitored to correct what are the problems and how can we solve them. And the best thing is close the scheme. That is best, because nobody will ask why that scheme has no result. You close it. So that what has happened. Now I am putting so many letters, so much this thing, telling that this is the potential. Now you cannot do anything more without this thing. So the modified scheme should be targets for prospective states. There are 10 states which cover 80% of the buffalo population. So aim at these 10 states and put in best efforts to declare them as disease-free zones for FMD. Then scheme modification to route subsidy to farmers through states and meat plants. See, meat plant can, because ultimately it will come to the meat plant, and meat plant will pay the amount, and they can take reimbursement from the EPIDA or the government or anything. If you have will, you have a way to do it, because if the banks are not so much for it, then sensitization of states for large scale implementation of the scheme, no monitoring meeting, no workshops, why male buffalo calf rearing is not being attempted, involving kvks for popularizing the scheme, and proactive role of ICR Animal Science Division to involve CIRB and other institutes like NRC Meat, CREDA. There are so many institutes whose job is to do these things to increase the farmers' income. For large scale field demonstration of the MBC rearing for better efficiency, we have to demonstrate in the field, like in the crop system. It's all they demonstrate in the fields. Then it will spread. If one person gains in a village by following a proper system, then others will automatically follow it. We need not do anything. Scheme to operate till 10 lakh cows, just 10 lakhs in 5-year period at a cost of rupees 700 crores. That is 140 crores per year for 2 lakh male cows. Each year 2 lakh, a 5-year 10 lakhs at a subsidy of 7,000 rupees per cow. This is the same subsidy earlier also it was there in the scheme, but not monitored because they have not thought of a farmer having 2 to 3 cows to participate in the scheme. They only thought entrepreneurs will come and do it. Where from the cows will be there for the entrepreneur? Because the farmer himself is neglecting that and they are dying. So he can't find so many entrepreneurs can't find so many cows in the market to buy and rear them. They are very few. So attempt at the same small farmer who are having 80% of the animals with them, that 2 to 3 cows if he has, he should be able to participate and take benefit of the scheme, and that is how he will take interest in salvaging from the early death and provide to the market. This would fetch export earnings of 4,200 crores. You are spending only 700 crores, and export earnings will be 4,200 crores because 1 lakh metric tons of quality meat at $5,000 per metric tons and 85 rupees per US dollar. So $700 crores you spend, you will get 4,200 crores as export earnings, and nearly 80% of that goes to the farmers. All our export earnings, anywhere from 75 to 80% is going to the farmers because they have other byproducts and they are recovering a lot from that, and the other 20% anyhow is there. Why incentives to farmers for MBC rearing? It is a prospective scheme with assured gains, definite success. So it has to be done. So to popularize and generate interest among farmers to salvage MBC from early death, to stabilize the practices for better efficiency and lower cost of quality. Only when you are doing it, you will become efficient of it. So let us start with some encouragement and then they will become efficient, and then don't give it, withdraw it. Then to achieve and sustain further growth in buffalo meat exports and to realize production potential of buffaloes and sustain buffalo milk economy, to contribute for doubling of farmers' income and to contribute for balance of payments and bilateral trade, and to recover investments in FMD control and eradication program with higher unit returns from exports. If you are not doing this, all that investments you are putting in the FMD control and eradication, how will you gain it back? So this is the way, this is one great opportunity for that to be done. So now coming to the animal pressure, Muthukumar, what is the time? Muthukumar?
Sir, go ahead, sir. Maybe in another 8 to 10 minutes, sir. Hope you will be able to conclude.
Okay, okay.
Because 5:30 is office closer time, so everyone will leave by 5:30 mostly.
So how much time is left over? I am asking.
Another 10 minutes, sir.
Another 15 minutes, sir.
Okay, 15 minutes. Let me see then very quickly. So Animal Preservation Act, whether in livestock farmers' interest? Certainly not. Most of the acts are more than 50 years old and have no relevance even when they were made because no stakeholder was involved. It is from some external hands they brought that kind of things, though the governments only brought it, and certainly not at present. So not conforming to preamble of the act. In each act has the preamble saying to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines. That is Article 48. They kept it as preamble, and so certainly it is away from it. So the acts do not protect unfettered right of the farmers to dispose his animals with benefit. ban restrictions on slaughter utility adversely affects prospects of the species in realizing maximum production potential. So, what are the model amendments in some state acts if they are already not there? I have given three options. The number one is a proven option, that is, altogether buffalo reference could be deleted from the State Animal Preservation Act. At the top, UP, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Orissa, Tamil Nadu, these states which are doing excellently in the buffalo production, they have no word in the buffalo, they have no word of buffalo in their Animal Preservation Act. Then why the other states should have so many bans, restrictions? Not required. It is a proven thing now after 50 years of their, not 50, nearly 70 years of their practice. Option 2, buffalo calf age to be prescribed as 1 year and below, and no restrictions on slaughter of male and female buffaloes above 1 year. And option 3, buffalo calf age could be notified as 1 year and below, as of Maharashtra, and above 1 year, no restrictions on slaughter of male buffaloes. But female buffaloes can have 80 years limit or economic use criteria. If they are economical, they should not be, if they are not. And you can see this figure. This is the heifers, female heifers, and they have no teats. And if your regulation do not permit their slaughter, what can be done? Because if the female slaughter is totally banned, only male is allowed, because we have so many such cases, anatomical defects or whatever it is, and they are excellent animals, so he has reared them for the meat, so they have no teeth, missing teeth. Then farmer or housewife best to decide culling, as he is aware of the past, present, and future potential of the animal and has the benefit of veterinary advice also. So we need not have any restrictions in the name of regulations. So friends, I will put this Motor Vehicle Act, which is a very bad act made and by the non-stakeholders involvement. See, they have made one amendment in 2016, that is permanent provisions in the body of the vehicle for individual animal. When we are loading 10 animals in a truck, how can you have permanent partition for individual animal in that truck? Then the space requirements which are given here, they are for the maximum size animals in the BIS code, like the Jafferbody and Murrah of 1000 kilos and all. But we have very many buffaloes or other animals having 100 kilos to 400 and 300 is the average. So this will be in a excess space, and when you have excess space in the transport, they will get beaten up by the barricades if you have individual partitions. See, I don't know how the animal welfare people promoted such kind of thing, which is against animal welfare. So this gives a conclusion many times to me that whether the animal welfare people are really aware of the practices elsewhere, the animal welfare is being achieved, like UK, top animal welfare country. So vehicles should not be used for transport of any other goods. In the BIS, while carrying the animals, other goods should not be there. But the same vehicle can be used for carrying the goods. So otherwise, if the animals come from Nagpur to Hyderabad, in the return, unless they take some fertilizer, wood or something, or plywood or anything, otherwise the cost will be double for one journey and going empty, and it is environmentally suicidal to waste so much empty journey. So no motor vehicles meant for carrying animals should be permitted to carry any other goods is not correct. So the BIS code is an excellent code, and that should be taken. And the other one I am proposing to repeal is the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Rules 2001. This there are no measure any section, there is no any section that states related to animal welfare here. They are all connected with FSSI regulation oriented things. So, and they have given the layer space at 2.8 square meters per large animal, But a scientific study says these are the things based on the weight, because they have given no weight. They have given 2 square meters per animal. So, based on above scientific study, a linear space for 450 kg buffalo comes to 1.54 square meters as compared to 2.8 square meters recommended in the TCA rule, which is 82% extra than scientific study based observation. So, what is the use of that? So then A to Y, A, B, C, D, so many points are there. They are all connected with the slaughterhouse building aspects, nothing to do with PCA cruelties. In fact, antemortem and postmortem is not the job of prevention of cruelty to animals. We have actually in the FSSA regulation, they have put one subheading animal welfare measures. Why did they not put such thing here? What are they, how to handle the animals which are moribund or not able to move? All those things, nothing of that kind. So just they wanted to have control in the slaughter, this thing, so that they can stop or do anything. That's the thing. And the same thing with per hour 46, 96 animals per vet in a day, which is not there in any other country. So why? How can they say? Everywhere they say adequate meat inspection. That's what is the given. So you can all the time check at the end point whether they are properly inspected or not. So not this number, and they have not given what species and what, is it only for antemortem or it includes postmortem also. Nothing is given. Such vague kind of regulations they play on the livestock sector. That's why the non-stakeholders have a grip to make regulations, and the uh, concerned people are mute spectators. And when we ask, sir, why don't you represent to us, sir, we will examine. What is to examine? I am giving you everything. So, anyhow, so Section 80, engagement of persons in slaughterhouse is not connected to child labor and all, is not their job. Resting in lairage for 24 hours, which is not there. The OE says waiting time should be minimized, because it is cruelty for animals to hold longer period than required in the abattoir premises. So finish them at the earliest. So whatever minimal request, rest is required, you have to provide adequate request, adequate rest, water, everything. So, but the principle is waiting time should be minimized and should not exceed 12 hours. If it is exceeding 12 hours, you have to treat them as your shed animals and all. So these are all the slaughter buffaloes. These are unproductive animals. They may look for others, oh, excellent animals, but they have all the fibrosed udder or fibrosed teats or other reproductive problems. So they are disposed. So we have done one study in 1980. So what kind of buffaloes are being slaughtered? So in this, myself, Dr. Lakshmanan, Anne, were there in all the things wherever we have done. Lakshmanan has been the number one and two, both Anne and Lakshmanan. So at that time, based on the confirmation, the excellent were 6%, good were 24%, fair grade were 26, and poor were 29, and very poor were 15%. And when I examine now the current period, certainly the very poor and poor, there are hardly any animals. That means the culling has become more efficient and they have not deteriorated. Just for the photo's sake, I have to search entire market some animals, because at that time the photos were black and white and not traceable. So, but anyhow, so it's a fair degree. Now the excellent animals could be something like 15%, and the good could be 35%, and rest will be the fair, and poor will be less than 5%. Someone can do what kind of buffaloes on the same scorecard or another scorecard, what type of buffaloes. So what we say that these are the calves of the farmer which need to be salvaged towards, this is a 1 year old buffalo calf at the CAR. We see the growth, tremendous growth, and also the same at the IVRI experiment, such a meaty in just after 1.5 years. So the same thing which we have seen. So this is where I am telling that if 100 cows are there, 100 dairy cows are there in the developed country system, they produce so much of the milk, and culled cows, they are 23, they give 7 tons of carcass weight, and replacement heifers are 26, they will go into the system. Then wheel calves are 10, 0.7 tons of wheel calf meat, and dairy beef is 20 tons. And in our case, all the stray animals were being utilized there in their system for dairy beef. And steers means the males, they are 40 and heifers are 15. So much of the meat is being produced, and that is how the milk economy is sustained. And they are able to export milk to any country. We are trying hard how to prevent, but how long? But luckily for the buffaloes, we are nearly into this system, so it will go on as a prospective animal. And regarding the traceability, this is the wheel calf production in Netherlands. I happened to visit it. So they rear the white wheel at 10 months, and 12 months they wear as red wheel. So that is all, and they get the calves from the farmers within 48 hours, and then they rear them, and they slaughter in their connected plant, and then each 250 grams of the meat they pack, they have the traceability. And if you put that barcode in a computer, you will see the farmer who reared them, what all it has eaten, the animal, and the premises where it was raised, and all that. That is what is total traceability. And we casually talk of traceability, but traceability is at a great cost. When I saw the retail pack marketing there, so everywhere computers, so that each animal meat they can identify to the level of 250 grams meat. So let us talk traceability with a purpose and with a gain, with a feasibility, not because we know that word that, oh, it must be traceable. So anyhow, so animal identification and traceability using polyurethane tags with 12 digit we are following, and the NDDB has developed information network for animal product INF, and they are controlling it. So India follows Codex norms of traceability, and so far we are sustaining the meat exports by this system. Of course, in the FMD control program, the animal identification has become a must, and then but things are yet to take 100% perfection. So we are still to go ahead in that. So, codex norms of traceability, tracing one step forward and one step backwards. So that is how you can establish fairly to the last level. Then barcode and QR code system of traceability is followed for meat exports. So we are printing those things. They will give the lot and the category and everything. So